I need you guys.
Okay, cool. I think maybe we'll leave it there for that question then. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I think Cirque du
so.
Soleil would be happy with that answer.
Damien, do you want to go next with this one?
I would love to go next, Tom. Thank you.
All right.
This is going to come from Pepsi Blue.
Oh, very good. Very
Pepsi
good.
Blue. Wait, what was the flavor trying to be?
Blue.
I believe it was like a berry flavor. Yeah, blue.
Okay.
It was blue.
Blue whale.
Blue. I mean, blue is one of the tastier colors. Let's be real
You
here.
guys ever had blue whale Pepsi? It's delicious.
Yeah. They legally can't call it like blueberry flavor, so it's like berry-esque is what we'll call it.
Right.
Is that just some sort of cop out? Like it tastes sort of like berries. Yeah, what berry? Oh, I don't know. Let's call it blue.
When
Yeah,
was
it's generic.
this? When was Pepsi Blue?
I want to say Pepsi Blue is probably early 2000s because I remember getting it at Red Rooster. It wasn't around for long, maybe 2 years, I reckon, tops.
Yeah.
And then it was gone.
I'm pretty sure one of my housemates had an obsession with Pepsi Blue. In high school, you know the one, Damien.
Yes,
And,
we share the obsession.
And I'm pretty sure we've gone to I'm pretty sure I went with him to the city just to go to some grocery store, like one of those obscure grocery stores to get said blue.
I just looked it up. 2002 introduced, 2004 it was dead, so it no longer exists.
So Pepsi expected it to blew up, but in fact, it actually blew its load.
Wow.
Someone said that in a board meeting. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
It's sure to.
This is when Tom puts a background behind him of people laughing. It's like they love it. They absolutely love it.
Right, guys. Yeah.
Check it out, guys. Check it out. Yeah.
All right. So Pepsi Blue.
R.I.P. Rest in Pepsi. Pepsi Blue writes in, girlfriend problems. What should I do?
Okay.
We have been dating for about 2 months. I came out of the shower and walked into my living room. She was facing the TV and didn't see me, but I saw her picking her nose. Then she looked at it, smelt it, and wiped it under my coffee table. I don't think she knew. I don't think she knew I saw her. It was so gross. I can't look at her the same way, and I don't want to see her again or even kiss her. Pepsi Blue.
Oh my god, the booger queen strikes again, man. Like that's how does one live with?
I got to say that working at a school, I've known that's like anytime you go to move a table, never stick your hands under the table to move it because there's always chewing gum underneath the table. It's just something that is a guarantee. So now I don't venture into underneaths of tables. It's just it's basically the abyss. You don't touch it.
I think chewing gum under a table is fair game. Not in a house, obviously, like in a school, right? But I think, like, if you imagine if he didn't see that and he's just going around his house and finding random pieces of snot under his furniture, and he's being like, what is happening in my house?
It's like, where's Wally but for boogers? It's like, where's the booger? It's just finding little nuggets of gold.
Yeah, it's like, the kitchen counter, the coffee table, the fucking basin. It's just everywhere.
I just think if you're dating someone and within 2 months they're using your house as like their own personal handkerchief, you have to question their commitment to the cause. Like, what are you doing here?
Man, no, I don't question their commitment to the cause because that's just them getting super comfortable. Yeah, that's them getting to the point of like, hey, I'm really loving this person. I'm gonna do this. Now, granted, she probably wasn't expecting him to catch her in the act, but I don't think that was a sign of, hey, fuck you. Like, I think it was
You missed the key point. I think picking your nose is fine.
Okay.
It's the wiping it on the table.
Yeah.
That's where she crossed the line.
Marcus somehow saw this whole situation as a term of endearment to be like, it means she loves you, obviously.
The more boogers you find, the more boogers you find underneath the table, the better she loves you. The more she loves.
It's like counting how many, like a dozen roses. Each booger is a dozen roses in booger terms.
Yeah, exactly.
That's disgusting and beautiful at the same time.
This is something I feel like if you're at your house, right, you've got access to tissues, so there should be no need to be littering your bodily fluids around the place. You should just get a tissue and wipe it up, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I agree 100%.
Right.
How do you guys feel about this? This is what I used to do this in my younger days when I was not living with my girlfriend as I am now. If I was in bed and I had to go digging for gold, sometimes I would just put it on my bed head and then like wake up to Krusty Mountain the next morning and then dispose of it.
Just right behind you.
Actually, I'm feeling a little sick right now, Damien.
I just want to know if it was okay.
Marcus, it means he loves you.
Yeah. If it was doing it on my bed, yeah, that's okay. But on your own bed, I actually feel
so you
pretty
think
sick
on your
about
own
that.
bed so you think on your own bed that's gross if you're home by yourself?
I think, yeah. I mean, that's just look. I've walked into your bedroom. I remember the bedroom, and I don't think I ever saw any of those on your bed head. Okay, but had I seen that, I would be grossed out.
Of course.
So you're saying if nobody ever, so if like a bear shits in the woods, does it actually shit? Like, is that what you're trying to
Yes.
say?
If Damien wipes snot on his bed head and nobody's there to see it, did it actually happen?
Yeah, exactly. So in that argument, I think that's okay. But you're going to forget about it one day. Someone's going to find it. Your girlfriend won't be your girlfriend any longer if she sees that sort of thing.
She sees it before you know it. You look, her bags are packed. She's by the door. She's on her way out.
Yeah, exactly.
This was years ago, right? I'm reformed. I no longer do it.
Your
I'm just
fiance,
saying it was something I did in the past.
Your fiance has whipped you into shape. She saw you do it once, and then she goes, "You do that again, you're out of here. You're out of here, bud."
What would be worse to see is it picking, licking, and sticking under the table, or is it picking and eating? What would be worse?
Wait, licking? Who's licking? Like,
Well,
you don't need to lick.
She licked it. Yeah, I don't know. People. Oh, she sniffed it. Sorry, she sniffed.
Sniffed it. Picking, sniffing, and sticking.
You think that's?
No, that's a good question. What is the worst of the two? Probably eating, I would say.
Eating?
But I mean, she's not leaving it behind. So if anything, it's a cleaner sort of way to be, right?
Yeah, but you're going to kiss her later on, and that's booger breath.
Booger breath.
That's
Yeah.
right. You have to kiss that. And I believe it was Snotface who said, "Do not get high on your own supply." I believe he did say that. So
That's true.
sorry, Scarface. I mean Scarface, not Snotface.
True, he did say that.
Okay, so you think it would be eating would be worse. So if anything, she's the lesser of two evils here.
Silver lining.
Yeah.
It's a silver lining. I think you can possibly get her to reform a little bit. I think there's a few options here, all right? A few options for Pepsi Blue. Either A, you got to talk to her. You got to let her know, hey, I don't appreciate you putting it on the table. I don't mind you picking your nose. Look, that's okay. Like that's life. Everybody does it. I like to think everybody does it. That's okay. I'm going to put more tissue boxes around the house just for you. All right.
You know what
yeah.
You know what this is reminiscent of? This is reminiscent of, I don't know about you guys, but over the last 2 weeks, all the emails you get from every company basically saying COVID-19, this is what we're doing to combat the virus. We are washing our spaces extra 3 times an hour. We are providing hand sanitizer in more locations. It's basically what you're saying to do. It's due to the excessive nose picking, we are providing more tissue boxes. We are cleaning the house twice as many times. It's just too much of art imitating life right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think, I agree with you, Marcus, that you can probably speak about it. I can imagine some people dumping a person over this, but I think speaking about it's a good idea, but I don't think it's good to be because of your disgusting habit, we are putting tissue stations around here, in the lounge room, in the kitchen, in the bedroom. You can't make them feel like they are some form of monster and you have to readjust your life because of their habit.
No, I think maybe you could put because I know as far as tissue boxes are concerned, in my current household, there is a very limited supply around the house. It's not actually easy to get to. Toilet paper is much easier to get to than tissues. So maybe I need to put more tissues in more spots. That's maybe his same scenario. Maybe he doesn't have tissues in more easily accessible places. So maybe he needs to do that as well.
I feel like people have done much less for someone with a much worse habit than that suggestion of leaving tissue boxes everywhere. There are people that are probably
I think tissue boxes are fine. Yeah,
there's people who are probably in more serious problems with drugs or other dependencies, and they probably don't get the help they deserve. But you're just no, tissue boxes for this person.
I think it's fine. Tissue boxes, the talk, the tissue box. I think that's good.
All right, talk and tissues, the old TNT.
TNT, baby, TNT.
Is that how we solve it?
It's dynamite.
Yeah.
Anything else to add with this one?
Nope.
I think Pepsi Blue would be pretty happy with that one.
All right, let's leave it there. I think these companies also should just maybe not try to reinvent the wheel too many times and just go with your standard Pepsi, your Pepsi Max. You don't need to have a product line with Pepsi Blue, Pepsi Pineapple, and Pepsi whatever else.
But hold on. I would love Pepsi Pineapple, by the way, Tom. If Pepsi Pineapple was a thing, pineapple drink is great. But not besides that, if companies didn't venture out, you wouldn't have such great flavors like Coca-Cola Vanilla and Coke Cherry. All right?
I'm not sure.
Preach, Marcus, preach.
Not sure I support you on that one, but on Pepsi Pineapple. But I'll leave it there at least. I'm going to go next with this question, guys. And this one is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Similar to Damien, it is a product. This is going to come from Tasty Tubes.
Oh, Tasty. Wait, hold on, Tom. Wait.
Yep.
Tasty Tubes are down the tube? They're done?
Tasty Tubes do not exist, Marcus. I don't know if you're aware of this.
When did this happen?
So I believe it was 2015. I think Tasty Tubes were no longer anymore.
That's actually heartbreaking.
In the defense of the cancellation of Tasty Tubes, they are delicious, but they were brought back for a brief period of time.
Yep.
And then they got killed again from memory.
Let me just explain what they are. Actually, they're sort of like a barbecue cheesel. It's like a cheesel, but with like a barbecue sort of flavoring, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ceased in 2001, but then resumed in 2007 under a new name called Tasty Tubes. But it was then given the kibosh, I think, in October 2015.
Oh, so wait, so they were the Undertaker. They died once, came back from the dead, died again.
Yeah.
Come back from it again?
They were like, you know what? We were wrong. We shouldn't have brought it back.
Kill it again.
Yeah,
Kill it with fire.
It's like Pet Cemetery.
Our money is going down the tubes now that we've brought them back.
It's like Pet Cemetery. Sometimes dead is better. That's what they said with Tasty Tubes.
Right.
Okay, so Tasty Tubes, right. How to deal with my parents who continue to get rid of my things randomly. I'm in my 20s, still living with my parents. About 3 years ago, my dad took all my childhood stuff that was stored in the basement and donated them to the thrift store without asking or telling me about it. I had some old toys, Lego sets, stuffed animals, and childhood keepsakes that were stored in the basement. One day I went downstairs to search for my stuff and found out that all my stuff from my childhood are now gone. I remember crying for a week before I finally got the courage to ask him why he donated my stuff without asking. He simply said, well, I thought you didn't want it anymore, so I donated it. He just assumed that I didn't want the stuff anymore without asking me. He said he didn't do it on purpose and promised me that next time he'll ask before getting rid of things. This isn't just a one-off incident. Besides, from my childhood keepsakes, there were also some boxes of items filled with my mum's personal belongings stacked in the basement. Not long afterwards, when he decided to clear out the basement again, he'd gotten rid of my mother's belongings too. When she confronted him about it, he became defensive and lashed out. How do I deal with this? Tasty Tubes.
Let it all out, Tasty Tubes. I have a dad who is does the exact same thing. Thankfully, I've moved out now, so it's okay. But we used to make a joke about my dad that if you stood still in the house for long enough, he would throw you out because he just goes on a a rampage and throws everything out.
Gotta go.
I feel like you've written this person's written this question because it's me. This is me 100%, guys.
Is it?
I am a massive throw out of things. I'm your dad, Damien.
Hang on, I'm going to make a call to my mum. What the hell?
Papa? Surprise. Papa. Yeah, no, I 100% am more so to do with food in a fridge. I tend to do that.
But that's different. That's waste, Marcus.
Yeah, but even still, I like the only reason why I haven't thrown out,
Marcus is also like, and when there's shit in the toilet, I'll flush that as well. I get rid of that.
I don't like to hang on to too many
this
things.
Is me to a T. Yeah, I don't do it. No,
I'm just like your dad.
I'm just like your dad. No, I feel like, especially like now that I'm currently living with a couple of housemates or a few of us, I won't throw out their things, but I definitely throw out my own things very quickly. Like I'm very much I'm not going to wear this anymore. Throw it. I'll donate it. More donate or something like that. And a lot of like my housemates, even my fiance is just like, why are you throwing that out? You might use it. You might do this. I'm like, no, I've decided I bought a new shirt. I'm not going to wear this shirt. One in, one out. That's it. That's the easy way to go. All right.
I think that's a good way to live because you've moved a few times, so you don't have a lot of stuff to bring with you, which is good.
Yeah.
But that is also your stuff. So, like, you are making that decision. This dad here is just throwing everybody's stuff out. No one is safe. So I want to ask you guys, have your parents or anybody close to you thrown out something that was dear to you? I feel like maybe you, Tom, because you picked this question.
Well, I will say that, like, on one hand, this has definitely happened, but the fortunate thing is my mum loves to hang on to things. I think my dad wishes probably that he could have the nerve, or she would throw things out more, because anything that, we've got like an attic sort of section. I think our house, our whole ceiling and all the walls are lined with every single box. Just say if I've bought like video games before, like mum's kept the boxes and they're stored away somewhere. Like the walls are lined with packaging and toys and knickknacks. There's just so much stuff that it's if our house was to go up in flames like that, it would just like burn to the ground very, very quickly, I think.
It burned very quickly.
And there'd be plastic
Your house
melted.
is full of your house is full of kindling, essentially.
Exactly.
So what will happen is when the fire happens, it'll be all these multicolored like colors all going. The flames will be like green,
Yep.
red, purple, blue, because of all the plastic that's going off. But I've been inside your parents' house, Tom, plenty of times, and it's not dirty. It's not a mess. It's not a hoarding house.
No, it's not. That's the
She
thing.
hides it. She hides it very well.
Like I said, the walls are lined with all the storage. I'm telling you, she uses every little nook and cranny for storage. So I will say that, like, I don't think my mum has ever thrown stuff out. There was a stage where my brother and I were just like, oh, we wanted to get a hold of like our old video games, and we're just like,